Hello everybody and welcome to Dot to Dot. Today I'm going to share with you an really neat, important new discovery that helps validate the vault theory that Olivier from Oak Island Research and myself have been working on this last year. Before I do that, I'm going to put up my copyright disclaimer. Anything I'm showing in this presentation that may be copyrighted are being used for the purposes as mentioned here. So with that said, let me show you what I found. And this is a picture of Round Island, which is just to the west of Oak Island. And it is an integral part in the beginning of the vault theory. Now, if you're new to this channel, you might want to subscribe and start watching my videos from here on out. I will be reviewing the vault theory. There's a lot of things that are in my past videos that are not as relevant, and we've refined some of the information to make it a little bit more clear. And this will help clear up a lot of things, at least for this part of the vault theory. With this picture, we can see in higher resolution than Google Earth for sure, 3 stones. And these are landmarks, and it's amazing, guys. This really conforms to the vault theory and the beginnings of the vault theory, and I'll show you in just right now. So this is the Zena Halpern map, or the Rochefoucauld map, if you know, whatever you want to call it. And this is basically a 3-part puzzle, or yeah, it's a puzzle and information that gives you the locations of these landmarks that are all in French. And my co-author of this theory is Olivier, and he is a French national. He's very well versed in the French language and the grammar and the syntax and everything. He's really the person who has brought forth a lot of the secrets that are in this document. And this is going to be a remarkable thing that I'm going to show you today. So bear with me. I'm going to go here to this portion. And this is, with the vault theory, this is where you start. And this is a note, appears to be a note, that is very poorly written, bad grammar. There's errors all over it. It looks like, I think Olivier said, it looked like it was written by somebody who was drunk. There's just nothing here except something that looks like a fraud or a fake. But actually it is written by somebody who is very well versed in French and likes making puzzles, and it's very interesting. And so let's start here. And this is the beginning basically of the vault theory. You start here, and this says in French, this sketch for M, which stands for Monsieur Francois, and then over here is La Rochefoucauld, a little glass, and then this word does not exist. It means nothing. It says d'Aprenustria, which gives you maybe some ideas about learning about Neustria, which is, Neustria is a northwest province of old France. The name Neustria actually went out of existence in 950 something AD. So, but it is a part of northwestern France, was a province of northwestern France. So when we look at this note here, basically what it says is that this little glass and this phrase means nothing. But if you take it as a puzzle then it becomes a little bit more clear. Now, Olivier and his wife were sitting down looking at this one night, and she noticed that this is forming what is called an alexandrine. Now, an alexandrine is a form of poetry, and it is a pro of poetry. And how it works is it consists of a line. The lines of the poem have 12 syllables, and there's a major stress on the sixth syllable. So these two aspects of the Alexandrine are going to be clues on how to solve this riddle up here. So this first line, which is, I'll try and pronounce it right, it's "Sept disant pour Monsieur Francois La Rochefoucauld." So I'm not going to do that again because I'm terrible at it. But Olivier realized that this is 12 syllables, okay? And the emphasis on the sixth syllable is after this M, which is Monsieur. Now, if you look at this, it's like a 3. Now, that could be a clue. It's speculative, but it could be a clue. A clue relating to the V. 3 stones. Also, this set is not right, and we will come to that later. That's actually the second step in the landing. This should be CE, not TTE. And the other error in this is petite. There's no E in petite, but it sets up a ETTE, same as set, and that is something that will come later. But back to this verset, the Alexandrine, this is 12 syllables to hear. Now the next thing to do is to turn this into a 12 syllable as the first line. Now, diapronostria is not a word. What I see it, and Olivier agrees, is just a filler for syllables. But it does give you the concept of what's trying to be conveyed here is to learn something about a western land or a new land to the west. Now we go a little glass. It means nothing. Now in the I think it was episode 9 of season 5, Rick Lagina goes to the Rochefoucauld Castle, and the curator and the researcher that was with them, they came up with a little towards the west. That was their interpretation of this, and that is not far off at all. And Olivier gets that because this ver, which is glass, also has a homonym called ver, which means towards. They sound the same, they're spelled differently, but they sound the same, but they mean a different thing. And this was taken apart by Olivier, in that he noticed that this V here, if separated from the ERRE, air, creates this a little V wanders. Now look at this right here. See how this wanders? So this is a clue of why this V is wandering. But where is it wandering? Well, we sort of know it's wandering towards the west. Now, the other thing that is in this that's interesting is this thing that Olivier noticed was a bird. Now, he attributes this as a symbol to what is called the language of the birds, which was a medieval way of communicating hidden information, and it was used by wandering minstrels would go from castle to castle or town to town, and they would sing a song or recite some kind of a poetic verse, and through the use of rhythm and using of homonyms, just like we saw here with ver, they communicate a hidden message. So it is interesting that if you take a line and go from the bird's mouth through the V, it hits the middle of this compass rose. Now this compass rose is going to be very significant because it will be placed upon Oak Island as a position. Okay, this will relate to a position on Oak Island, which is called La Hump, and that is in La Formula. But for now, we're looking at this little V and how this, and notice how this symbol right here imitates that. So that is a clue. So we have un petit VR, Apernustria. Now Apernustria is, Diapernustria is 6 syllables, and right here we have, by separating the V and the EER, we have 11, and adding west we have 12. So we've completed the Alexandrine with this right here, un petit VR, Diapernustria, and then the west. Now remember that Alexandrines also have an emphasis on the 6th syllable. So on the 6th syllable, it would be un petit VR D. So the 6th syllable would be this D. Now this D on here, Olivier has a better understanding of this in French. But what I decided I was going to do was to take out this word here and substitute west into this position with the D in front of it. And if you do that, this is what you get. Is you get, oh, there's air. It means to wander. We already did that. But this is D west, is westerly. And what that means is comes from the west. It comes from the west. Just like a westerly wind comes from the west. So if we take this message here, a little V wanders from the west. So get rid of this Apernustria because it means nothing. It fulfilled its duty in showing us that west was to be included, because if it wasn't there, we wouldn't have included west to complete the Alexandrine. But now the Alexandrine is completed, but this means nothing, and we want to make a message out of this. So we take out the Apernustria, substitute west in there, and now we have a little V wanders from the west. So let's go back to, and I have a picture here. Let's go back to Round Island. And here we have these 3 stones. Here's the picture that I showed you before. Here's on, this is Google Earth. It is the 2011 picture because it has the best resolution. But I have marked here. See how it forms a V? See how that forms a V? And notice here too that the V is a little bit longer on, because this stone is a little bit this way than this stone. I mean, it really looks like the V on the note. And if you take this line and you go all the way this way on Google Earth, and I'll bring up Google Earth. If you go all the way and extend that line, it goes to Round Island and goes through those stones. See, here's the bottom of the V. Here's the top, like that. There's those 3 stones. Isn't that amazing, you guys? And look, it almost it looks like the V in the note. Look. See how that V goes up here? And out of the mouth of the bird, who's conveying the song, the language of the bird, we realize that this little V that wanders from the west, it sets up a line that orients this information, the first line that brings this information to Earth or to the region of Oak Island from Round Island. That is the beginning of the transferring of the hidden information in this document to a legitimate, basically a geometric progression that will eventually lead us to finding all the landmarks on this island. But we have a lot more work to do, and I'm going to keep progressing on my videos to refine this information. But the next video I'm going to do will show you basically how the first information from this has to do with Nolan's Cross. And if we go towards the west from Oak Island, it's Round Island. And if you look at the map on Round Island, there's these 2 little things here, which are basically handles, because this L'Anse has 2 meanings. It means the cove and the handle. And the handle is synonymous with La Hampe, which is right here, which this right here will represent La Hampe on Oak Island. So there's a lot more to come, and subscribe and watch the next one where we investigate how this right here, these 2 handles, which L'Anse means handle, will bring us to Oak Island and locate our next point. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.